Hello everyone, this is Savita Acharya from Canara Engineering College. In this video lecture, we will study conditional statements used in behavioral modeling. Conditional statements. You are very familiar with these conditional statements in high-level programming language like in C, that is the if statements. The if statements can be of three types, type 1, type 2 and type 3. In type 1, it is the simplest case, that is the if expression is there. If the expression is true, the set of true statements will be executed. That's it. An example of type 1 statements would be, say, if not of lock, buffer equal to data. That means if lock is equal to 0, not of lock means the complement of lock. So if lock is equal to 0, this condition is checking if lock is equal to 0. So the expression is not of lock. Whenever the expression is true, the true statement will be executed. So always for the true statement to be executed, the expression value should be true or 1. So when lock is 0, this expression value will be 1. So buffer equal to data. Likewise, another example, if enable out equal to in. If enable means it is checking if the value of enable is equal to 1. If it is true, then out in is assigned to out. Type 2 statements. Here you have two-way branching, that is if expression then true statement. That means if the expression is true, the set of true statements will be executed. Else, it will come to the else block only if this expression is false. So in that case, the false statements are to be executed. Example of type 2 statements, I have a piece of code here. The expression is if number is less than max. So if number is less than max, this set of statements will be executed. Else means if the number is greater than or equal to max, it will come to the else block. So in that case, I am asking to display some message, try again. So if the condition is true, there are two statements to be executed, that is data 1 equal to data and number equal to number plus 1. So whenever there are more than one statements in any construct in Verilog, it should be enclosed between begin and end. So here there is only one statement that you can write directly. But if you have more than one statements, then it should be enclosed between begin and end. Type 3 if statement will have multiple branches. See here, first if expression 1, if the expression 1 is true, then the set of true statements will be executed. If the expression 1 is false, then it will come to the next else if statement, else if expression 2. If the expression 2 is true, then the true statement 2 will be executed. There will be a set of statements. If expression 2 is false, then it will come to check else if expression 3 and so on. So you can have any number of conditional statement, else if statements, and finally if none of the expressions are true, then it will come to the else block where the default statements are executed. Example of type 3 statement, this is execute statement based on some ALU control signal. So there is some ALU control signal for different values of this ALU control signal, different operations are to be performed. So first it is checking if ALU control is equal to 0. If it is true, then y equal to x plus z. Else if ALU control equal to 1. So the control will come to this statement only if the ALU control is not equal to 0. So if it is not equal to 0, it can be any non-zero value. So now I want to check whether it is equal to 1. because if the ALU control signal is equal to 1, the operation to be performed is y equal to x minus z. Similarly, if ALU is not 0 as well as not 1, then it will come to the third else if block where you are checking if ALU control is equal to 2. So if that is true, y equal to x into z. So if it is none of these, that is ALU control is not equal to 0, neither 1 or 2, then it will come to the else block where I display some message saying that invalid ALU control signal. Type 3 if statements can be replaced by a case statement. So it's an way to do multi-way branching. So the syntax of the case statement is we have case is the keyword. Following that is the expression inside the braces. Then you have alternative 1, alternative 2, alternative 3 and so on. So this is equivalent to checking different conditions, that is in the if else if statement. What we have is if condition 1 is true, then the set of statements is to be executed. Else if condition 2, else if condition 3, you have like that. So here same thing is done in this way, that is we specify alternative 1. If the expression is equal to alternative 1, the statement 1 will be executed. If it is not, then it is checked whether it is equal to alternative 2. Then in that case, statement 2 will be executed. If it is equal to alternative 3, statement 3 will be executed and so on. Now if expression is not equal to any one of these alternatives, then it will come to the default block. Here default also is a keyword. It will execute the default statements. Finally, this the case statement is concluded using this end case keyword. Note here there is no space between end and case. As an example, we'll see the same example that we have written for multi-way branching, that is type 3 if statement. So here, since the case expression should be a single entity, because we are going to verify this expression with these alternatives, right? So these alternative values what you are giving should be compatible with the expressions. So since we are checking whether the ALU control signal is equal to 0, 1 or 2, as we have seen in the previous example for type 3 if statement, we require two bits to represent 0, 1 and 2. That's why I have declared here ALU control as a 2-bit vector. Okay, it's a register type data and it's a 2-bit vector, 1 down to 0 ALU control. Now I can check whether it is equal to 0 by specifying the constant in this format, that is 2 indicates that it is consisting of 2 bits. T means we are going to represent the data in the decimal, then the value is 0. Okay. If ALU control is equal to 0, then y equal to x plus z. This colon is essential. Else if ALU control is equal to 1, then y equal to x minus z. If it is equal to 2, y equal to x into z. And if it is not equal to any of these, then it will come to the default block where I display the message saying that invalid ALU control signal. Finally, end case. We'll write a 4:1 mux using case statement. So here I have the block diagram of the 4:1 mux, 4 inputs, 1 output and 2 select lines. So based on this block diagram, I have done the module definition, module keyword followed by the module name mux41, and ports are out, I0, I1, I2, I3, S1 and S0. Under port declarations, out is the output port, I0, I1, I2, I3, S1 and S0 are the input ports. Now, to indicate that any program is a behavioral level modeling style, then there should be either a always block or a initial block. So we have seen while writing test benches for lab programs, there is always a initial block, right? Similarly here we'll have a always block. So the syntax of the always block is always is the keyword followed by at the rate of symbol, and inside the braces you have to put something called as sensitivity list. Okay. This sensitivity list is nothing but those signals in the digital design which are going to trigger that circuit. So when do I want this? Now I am going to realize a 4:1 mux. When do I want the 4:1 mux to give me outputs? Whenever any one of the input signals are changing, right? That is either I change I0, I1, I2, I3, or if I change S1 or S0, I want the mux to give me the appropriate output. So the sensitivity list will be all the input lines and the what do you call that, select lines. So I write I0 or I1 or I2 or I3 or S1 or S0, right? So if any one of these signals have an event occurring on them, then the always block is to be triggered. That is, in other words, the 4:1 mux has to give me output. Now inside so the always block, the statements inside the always block should be enclosed between begin and end. Okay. So I can have directly the case statement. Now the case expression. Case expression. Now before that, whichever output signal we are going to use inside the always block need to be declared as a register. That is why I have register out. So out is the output port that I am going to use inside the always block. So I need to declare register out as a register before entering the always block. This is because inside the always block the execution is sequential in nature, and hence the variables should be declared as register. Okay. So here the case, now coming to the case statement. So the case statement will be the case expression will be the select lines. Now I have declared the select lines as scalar quantities, that is S1 and S0. So but in the case expression it should be compatible with the case values that I am going to verify with. So that we have seen while discussing the example for case statement. So that is why what I'll do is I will concatenate S1, that is S1 is the most significant bit, and S2. Now S1 S0 has become a single entity. Now it is a 2-bit vector. So now I can check if D equal to if S1 S0 is equal to 0. That is 2 tick D0 means 2 bits. In decimal equivalent of 00 is 0. So if 2 tick D0, that is S1 S0 is equal to 00, then out is equal to I0, right? If S1 S0 is equal to 01, the decimal equivalent it is 1, out equal to I1, right? Similarly, if it is equal to 2, then out equal to I2. Finally, if it is equal to 3, 2 tick D3, then out equal to I3. Okay. Lastly, I will have the default block. Default, I will display some message, say display invalid control signal. Now you may think, now this is end case, right? You may think that we have covered all possible values with the two select lines. That is, with the 2 bits you can have 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 1, 0 and 1, 1. The decimal equivalents of them are 0, 1, 2, 3 respectively. Now you may think for what value of S1 and S0 it will come to the default block. Now you recall that in Verilog the signals basically by default will take 4 values 0, 1, X and Z. So we have only considered S1 and S0 taking values 0 and 1. We have not considered values X and Z. So there are many other values which we have not covered in our alternatives. So if S1 and S0 takes any one of these uncovered values, then it will come to the default block wherein I will display the message as invalid control signal. Now one more thing, as I have told you, the statements inside the always block should be enclosed between begin and end. But this will hold good only if the always block consists of more than one statements. Now here I have just one case statement. Case statement is a single statement. So that means in my always block there is only one statement, that is the case statement. So I will just put it as a single statement without any braces. Sorry, without any finally end module. So case statement is the only statement inside the always block, and hence there is no begin and end for this always block. Okay. And one more point, that is the case statement compares 0, 1, X and Z values in the expression and the alternative bit for bit. Okay. So here it is going to check the case expression with the alternatives bit by bit. So in any case, if the size of the expression and the alternatives are not matching, then zeros are filled either in the expression or in the alternative, whichever is smaller, to the width of the entity which is of greater width. Next example, we'll realize a 1:4 demultiplexer. So I have the block diagram of the 1:4 demultiplexer. This has got one input in and four outputs, out 0, out 1, out 2, out 3, and two select lines S1 and S0. So here I have the truth table of the 1:4 demultiplexer. The S1 and S0, that is the select lines, can take four different values 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1. And for each of these select lines, depending on the select lines, that particular bit will be getting the input. So for easier demonstration, I have taken input as 1. Okay, it could be anything, 1 or 0. So I have taken here all input, every time the input as 1, and output when S1 S0 is 0 0, this input will be available on the output line out 0, and all other lines will be in the high impedance state. Similarly, when S1 S0 is 0 1, input will be available on out 1 with all others in high impedance state. 1 0 input is available on out 2, and 1 1 input is available on out 3. Now this program is slightly different from the previous cases in the sense that here we have taken all cases, that is we have built this 1:4 demultiplexer for which the outputs are completely specified, that is definitive results are provided even for X and Z values on the select signal. So I will go through the program line by line. Module demux14, out 0, out 1, out 2, out 3 in S1, S0 are the ports as per the block diagram. I have declared the corresponding output ports and the input ports. As I mentioned earlier, the output lines which I will be using inside the always block should be declared as register. So always block is the main characteristics of a behavioral modeling style. Now what should be included in the sensitivity list? That is, when the demultiplexer has to give me output, whenever there is a change in the select lines or whenever there is a change in the input line. So I have included all three signals, S1 or S0 or in. Okay. So inside the always block there is only one case statement, that is uh, the case expression is S1 and S0. So since they are scalar quantities, I have concatenated them to form a single vector entity. Okay. So it is a 2-bit vector now. Now I can check for 4 different values, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1. So it is simply translation of this truth table into the code. So when it is 0, 0, I need to put this, that is out 0 equal to 1. 1 means it is equal to in, that is whatever the input line. Out 1 is Z, out 2 is Z and out 3 is Z. Now since for one case alternative there are multiple lines to be I have put it inside begin and end block. So similarly for 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1. It is direct translation of this truth table. Now that is for the 4 select lines. Now I want to do it for other values also. The select lines can take X or Z values. So here if any select signal is X, then outputs are X. If any select signal is Z, then outputs are Z. So the issue is when one is X and other is Z. So if one is X and other is Z, X gets higher priority always. Okay. So when one of them is X or both of them is X or one of them is Z, we have, that is 2x0, 2x1, 2bxz, 2bxx. That is one of them is X and other one is a number, or one of them is X and other one is Z, or both of them is X. All the outputs will be X. Okay. And the other case when all the select lines are Z. Okay. Or one of them is Z and other is a number, or both of them is Z. In that case, the output will be in high impedance state, that is Z. Other than this, if any other combination occurs, then display signal is display message is to be done, that is as unspecified control signals. We have an alternative for a case statement, that is case X and case Z. Case Z treats all Z values in the case alternatives or the case expression as don't cares. All bit positions with Z can also be represented by question mark in that position. So in the case statement we are just checking exact values. I hope you are understanding. We have seen the demultiplexer where in the case alternative I have given 2 tick B 1x or 2 tick B 0x or 2 tick B xz, something like this. So that time it is checking for bit by bit. Okay, it is checking whether the case expression is xz with the case alternative xz. But here once you use case Z, all the occurrences of Z are treated as don't care. Don't care means it could be anything, 0 or 1 or anything. Similarly, case X treats all X and Z values in the case item or the case expression as don't cares. So case X is same as case Z, but here it treats both X and Z as don't cares. We'll see as an example here a small piece of code where encoding is declared as a 4-bit register, state as an integer. Now I have case X and the case expression is encoding. So for the 4-bit register, I have given 4 different values here. 4 tick B 1XXX. That means it is only checking whether the most significant bit is 1. If the most significant bit is 1, irrespective of what the other bits are, the next state will be assigned 3. Okay. Similarly, second alternative is 4 tick B X1XX. So if the next bit to the most significant bit is 1, irrespective of the other bit, the next state will be assigned the 2. Likewise, here the third bit and here the least significant bit it is checking. Okay. And default also, if any other alternative other than this occurs, then it will go to the default state. So in the default state also we say next state equal to 0. So actually case X and case Z allows comparison of only non-X and non-Z positions in the case expression and the case alternatives. So as I told here in the first case alternative, it is only checking if the most significant bit is 1. If that is 1, then the condition satisfies, it executes this statement. In this case, it is just checking if the second bit is 1. Here it is checking whether the third bit is 1 and here the last bit. Okay. So it is not checking wherever you place a X or a Z, it simply ignores those values. So this is the case X or case Z statement. So in this example, if I take a value of 10XZ for encoding, the case X statement is just going to check for non-X and non-Z values. So there is a 1 in the most significant bit for the first case alternative. So then the next state, this only will be executed, and hence the next state would be equal to 3. In this video, we have come across conditional statements and an alternative for multi-way branching, that is the case statement, and various example using these constructs. In the next video, we'll look into loops. Thank you.